What is that strange green herb that turns even the most serious cat into a rolling, purring ball of pure silliness, and how does a simple plant have so much power over their brains? Which specific chemical is responsible for this wild behavior? And have you ever wondered if your cat is actually seeing tiny invisible mice, or just feeling a very intense burst of feline happiness? Hi, welcome back to Paw and Order. My name is Carl, and I am gonna explain the amazing science behind catnip in a way that is super easy to understand. Today, we are going to explore the mystery of this member of the mint family, and find out why it makes about 70% of cats go absolutely crazy. We will look at how it works, why some cats don't care about it at all, and how you can use it to make your kitty's life much more exciting and fun. It is one of nature's most unique gifts to the animal kingdom, and once you know the secrets of the nip, you will be able to treat your furry friend to the ultimate herbal experience while keeping them safe and happy. To understand why cats love catnip, we first have to look at a special oil found inside the leaves and stems of the plant called nipetolactone. This chemical is the magic ingredient that starts the whole reaction. When the catnip leaves are bruised or crushed, they release this oil into the air, and that is when your cat's nose takes over. When a cat sniffs the nipetolactone, it binds to special receptors inside their nose that send a very strong signal directly to their brain. Specifically, it targets the olfactory bulb, which then talks to the amygdala and the hypothalamus. These are the parts of the brain that control emotions and basic instincts. Essentially, the catnip tricks the cat's brain into thinking it is experiencing something incredibly pleasurable or exciting. It is like a happy button that gets pushed the moment they take a big whiff of that herbal scent. This is why you see them rubbing their faces on the plant. They are trying to break more of the leaves to release even more of that amazing, invisible oil. The reaction to catnip is truly a sight to behold, and it usually follows a very specific pattern of behavior that looks like a dance. First, the cat will sniff the herb intensely, then they will start licking it or even chewing on it. After that, you will see the famous cheek rub, where they try to get the scent all over their face. This is often followed by rolling on their back, kicking their legs, and zooming around the room, like they have a sudden burst of lightning energy. For some cats, it makes them very relaxed and chill, while for others, it turns them into a tiny tiger, ready to hunt everything in sight. This high usually lasts for about 10 to 15 minutes, before the cat's brain becomes temporarily desensitized to the smell. Once the effect wears off, the cat will usually walk away, and won't react to catnip again for an hour or two. It is a completely natural and harmless way for them to experience a bit of euphoria, and it doesn't have any long-term negative effects on their health or personality. Have you ever noticed that some cats completely ignore catnip, and why does this happen to so many felines? It turns out that the love for catnip is actually an inherited trait, meaning it is passed down from their parents through their genes. If a cat doesn't have the catnip gene, the plant will just look like regular grass to them, and they won't feel a thing. Research shows that roughly 1 out of every 3 cats is immune to the effects of catnip. Interestingly, kittens also don't react to it until they are at least 3 to 6 months old. It seems their brains need to reach a certain level of maturity before the nipetolactone can start its magic work. Even some big cats, like lions and leopards, have been known to react to catnip, while others like tigers often stay totally unimpressed. If your cat is one of the ones that doesn't care for it, don't worry. There are other plants like silver vine that might work for them instead. Every cat is an individual, and their unique DNA decides if they get to join the catnip party or stay on the sidelines. Since we mentioned silver vine, let's talk about which other plants act like catnip alternatives for those cats who don't have the classic catnip gene. Silver vine is actually even more potent than catnip, because it contains 2 different chemicals that trigger that happy response instead of just one. Many cats who ignore catnip will go absolutely wild for silver vine sticks or powder. Another great option is valerian root, which is a common herb used by humans for sleep, but for cats, it acts as a major stimulant. There is also a plant called honeysuckle, specifically the Tartarian variety, that many cats find irresistible. Having these alternatives is a great way to ensure that no cat is left out of the fun. You can find these at most pet stores or online, often in the form of toys or dried herbs. Using a variety of these plants keeps your cat's environment fresh and interesting, providing them with different types of sensory stimulation that prevents boredom and encourages them to stay active and playful throughout the day. How does eating catnip differ from just sniffing it, and is it safe for your cat to swallow those green leaves? When a cat sniffs catnip, it usually acts as a stimulant, making them crazy and energetic. However, when they eat the plant, it often has the opposite effect, and acts as a mild sedative. A cat that eats a little bit of catnip might become very sleepy, quiet, and relaxed. This is because the chemical is being processed by the digestive system, rather than the olfactory system. It is perfectly safe for cats to eat small amounts of dried, or fresh catnip, as it is non-toxic. However, if they eat way too much, they might get a bit of an upset stomach or diarrhea, just like if they ate too much of any new food. The best way to offer it is to sprinkle a small pinch over their scratching post, or inside a toy. This way, they get a little bit of both experiences, the zoomies from the smell, and the mellow vibes from the taste. Which ways are the best to introduce catnip into your cat's daily routine, to keep them healthy and happy? One of the most useful simple steps is to use catnip as a training tool. If you have a cat that is scratching your expensive sofa, try rubbing some fresh catnip on their scratching post instead. The scent will draw them to the post, and they will associate the post with that amazing, catnip feeling. You can also use it to help a shy cat feel more comfortable in a new environment, or to encourage two cats to bond by playing together. Another unique idea is to put some catnip inside a clean, old sock and tie a knot in the top. This creates a homemade kicker toy that they can hug and bunny kick to their heart's content. By using catnip strategically, you aren't just giving them a treat, you are helping them navigate their world and encouraging the behaviors you want to see. It is a powerful tool for any cat owner to have in their parenting kit. Have you ever wondered if you can grow your own catnip at home, and how hard is it to keep a catnip garden alive? The good news is that catnip is incredibly easy to grow because it is basically a weed. It loves the sun and doesn't need much water to thrive. You can plant it in a small pot on your windowsill or in a corner of your backyard. If you grow it inside, just make sure it is in a place your cat can't reach whenever they want, or they will eat the whole plant before it has a chance to grow. Fresh catnip is much more powerful than the dried stuff you buy in containers because the oils are still very potent. You can harvest the leaves, dry them out in the sun, and store them in an airtight jar to keep them fresh for months. Growing your own is a fun, cheap, and organic way to ensure your cat always has access to the highest quality nip available. Plus, the plant produces pretty little purple flowers that look great in any home or garden. How should you store your catnip to make sure it doesn't lose its magic over time? The oils in catnip are very delicate and will evaporate if they are left out in the air or in direct sunlight for too long. To keep your catnip as strong as possible, always store it in a sealed plastic bag or a glass jar with a tight lid. Some people even keep their catnip in the freezer. The cold temperature helps preserve the nipetolactone oil and keeps it from breaking down. When you are ready to give some to your cat, take a little bit out and scrunch it between your fingers. This crushing motion wakes up the oil and releases that strong scent that cats love so much. If you have catnip toys that have lost their smell, you can put them in a sealed jar with some loose, fresh catnip for a few days. The toys will soak up the scent, and they will be just like new again. This simple storage step ensures you get the most value out of every bag you buy. Is catnip addictive for cats, and can they overdose on it if they have too much? This is a very common question, and the answer is no. Catnip is not addictive at all. Cats do not experience a withdrawal if they don't have it, and they don't build up a permanent tolerance that requires them to have more and more each time. In fact, if you give it to them too often, like every single day, they might just get bored with it and stop reacting. It is best to give it as a special treat once or twice a week, to keep the experience exciting. As for an overdose, cats are very good at knowing when they have had enough. They will usually just walk away when the feeling becomes too much. The only real danger is a temporary tummy ache, if they eat a giant pile of it, or perhaps a little bit of crankiness, if they get overstimulated during the zoomy phase. It is one of the safest treats you can possibly give to your pet. Which specific types of catnip products should you look for when you are shopping at the pet store? You will see everything from dried flakes and pellets to catnip-infused bubbles and sprays. Dried flakes are the most versatile, because you can put them anywhere. Catnip sprays are fantastic for refreshing old toys or furniture, without leaving a mess of green leaves on your carpet. Some cats really enjoy catnip bubbles, which provide a fun visual and scent experience as they try to pop them with their paws. If you are buying toys, try to find ones that have a refillable pouch. This allows you to swap out the old, stale catnip for fresh herbs whenever you want, making the toy last much longer. Always check the labels to make sure the catnip is organic and doesn't have any added chemicals or fillers. Pure catnip is always the best choice for your cat's sensitive nose and stomach. How can catnip help with multi-cat households, or when introducing a new feline friend? Sometimes, bringing a new cat home can be a bit stressful for everyone involved. Using catnip can be a unique way to break the ice. If both cats are catnip responders, giving them some at the same time in the same room can help them associate each other with positive, happy feelings. They might be so distracted by the herb that they forget to hiss or be grumpy at the newcomer. However, you should always supervise this closely. Some cats can become a bit aggressive or too playful when they are on a catnip high, and you don't want a fun play session to turn into a real fight. Start with small amounts and see how they interact. If they both seem happy and relaxed, it can be a great bonding tool that helps your cats become best friends much faster. What about older cats? Is catnip still good for them as they age? Absolutely. In fact, catnip can be even more beneficial for senior cats. As cats get older, they tend to move less and can become a bit stiff or bored. A little bit of catnip can encourage an older cat to get up, stretch, and play for a few minutes, which is great for their joints and their mental health. It can also help stimulate the appetite of a senior cat, who might be getting a bit picky about their food. Since it is a natural herb, it doesn't interfere with most medications, though you should always double-check with your vet if your cat has a specific heart condition. Providing that little burst of joy to an old friend is a wonderful way to keep their golden years bright and active. It reminds them of being a kitten again, and watching an old cat zoom around the room is a truly heartwarming sight for any owner. In conclusion, cats love catnip because of a unique chemical reaction between the plant's oil and their incredible noses. Whether it makes them want to run, roll, or nap, it is a safe and natural way to add some spice to their lives. We've learned that it is a genetic trait, that there are great alternatives like silver vine, and that you can even grow it in your own home. By following simple steps like storing it in the freezer and using it for training, you can become a pro at managing your cat's herbal adventures. Remember to keep the English simple. When you talk to your cat, they might not understand the science, but they definitely understand the love. My name is Carl, and I am so glad you joined me here at Paw and Order to learn about the magic of the nip. Your cat is lucky to have such a thoughtful owner who cares about their happiness. Thank you so much for watching and learning with me today. I hope you go out and give your cat a little pinch of catnip tonight and enjoy the show. There is nothing quite like the bond we have with our pets, and seeing them happy and playful is the best reward we can get. If your cat is one of the 30% that doesn't react, don't forget to try some silver vine or valerian root instead. There is a happy plant out there for every kitty, you just have to find the right one. Keep those tails wagging and those purrs coming. I'll see you in the next one for more simple steps to a better life with your pets.